What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's big three freight shippers are seeing a jump in urgent orders from the U.S. amid a 90-day reprieve from higher U.S. tariffs for all countries but China. But even if those tariffs do ultimately kick in after 90 days, there is not much worry that export orders will dry up. Van Trieste reports.
The road to Taipei's container port is packed as buyers in the U.S. rush to beat U.S. President Donald Trump's planned tariffs. There is, for now, a 90-day reprieve on higher import duties from all countries except for China, and customers are ordering early so their goods arrive before those duties kick in. At a meeting of shipping firms, the heads of Taiwan's big three freight shippers gave their take on what's happening, and their responses were generally upbeat.
我想我们长约在美国线签约的比率是高，我们的量价基本上会比去年好。那在欧洲的部分价格也有在提高，基本上没有太大的变化。
The head of freight shipper Wanhai says the volume of e-commerce and orders of goods from customized furniture to machine tools shows that the impact of tariffs so far has been limited.
晋阳线我们包括我们今年的运费呢，都比去年的同期运费1到4月这样看下来，大概运价大概成长3成，所以表示晋阳线目前状况都还不错。
And there was confidence that barring a catastrophe, orders from the U.S. won't dry up, tariffs or not.
我是觉得我们还是可以继续观察，应该不会那么悲观，因为除非美国整个经济状况出了大问题，他不购买，他不消费，不然跟亚洲购买这些部分一定会继续。
But recent U.S. policy has been unpredictable, and economists say there may still need to be some caution.
比较大的变数是在那美国到底那边会有什么样的情形？还有就是说，它现在的协议上面除了中国之外，会不会波及到更多的地方？ 然后让全世界到美国的总运量下降。
So rushed orders continue to come in as budget-minded customers in the U.S. decide now is not the time to wait and see. Justin Wu and Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. President Donald Trump will limit tariffs on foreign-made cars to 25%, the Wall Street Journal reports. Under new exemptions, automakers won't have to pay additional tariffs on top of that, like those Trump imposed on steel and aluminum. Automakers that had already paid for those extra duties will be reimbursed. Tariffs paid on foreign auto parts will also qualify for partial reimbursement. The planned change comes just days before Trump is set to hold a rally outside of Detroit, a major U.S. auto manufacturing hub, to mark 100 days in office. Lights are back on across most of the Iberian Peninsula after a massive blackout on Monday. But investigations are ongoing into how the power supply to two entire countries was so suddenly cut off. Reese Ayers reports.
Cheers in neighborhoods across Madrid as power and light are finally restored, hours after city skylines were plunged into darkness. Following a massive blackout that cut power to millions of people from parts of France to most of Spain and Portugal. The outage, which started Monday around midday, caused confusion across the Iberian Peninsula, with hospitals switching to emergency generators and people panic buying at supermarkets. There was chaos on the roads as traffic systems failed, and thousands of travellers were left stranded as hundreds of flights were delayed or cancelled and public transport ground to a halt.
My daughter in Barcelona is giving birth. We're going to miss the connection to get there. Now we're going to have to sleep here, and we don't even have anything to eat.
A state of emergency was declared across the region, but Spain's Prime Minister was quick to assure his people that cross-sector investigations were underway to identify the cause of the blackout.
The relevant state institutions and all private operators are working together to understand what has happened. All potential causes are being analyzed. I insist again, without ruling out any hypothesis, any possibility.
Amid speculation, both Portugal's Prime Minister and the European Council President said there were no signs of a cyber attack. European power companies noted an incident with an interconnector between France and Spain as being behind the outage, but that there were likely other, yet to be identified, factors involved. Despite the lack of clarity, by Tuesday morning, life was already getting back to normal as power was restored to the region. Chris Marr and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
4 former pro-democracy lawmakers in Hong Kong have been freed after serving jail time on charges of subversion. There are some of the 47 pro-democracy activists who were jailed for organizing an unofficial campaign to win Hong Kong's 2020 legislative election. They were charged in early 2021 under a national security law imposed by Beijing. The 4 were sentenced to over 4 years in jail after pleading guilty. China has been cracking down on civil society opposition since pro-democracy protests erupted in Hong Kong in 2019. Taiwan's foreign ministry says it's communicating with Canadian authorities to determine whether the suspect in the Vancouver car attack has ties to Taiwan. It comes after Canadian media reported that social media accounts belonging to the suspect, 30-year-old Adam Low, indicated he was from Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan. Canadian police detained Low after he allegedly drove an SUV into a crowded festival on Sunday, killing 11 people and injuring dozens. Communities and activists in Bangladesh are pushing for stricter crackdowns on illegal battery recycling factories. The facilities are being blamed for widespread lead poisoning that is ruining local ecosystems and endangering public health. Rosie Greninger reports.
12-year-old Junaid Akhtar lives with neurological disorders, and his growth has been stunted due to the toxic effects of exposure to lead. Akhtar's mother says her son was poisoned while playing near an illegal battery recycling factory in their hometown of Tangale in central Bangladesh. Junaid is one of 35 million children in the South Asian nation who've had dangerously high levels of lead exposure. The heavy metal is found in everything from household paint to turmeric. But environmentalists say the recent surge of illegal battery recycling operations, fueled by a growing demand for electric rickshaws, is making the crisis worse. An estimated 80% of battery recycling in Bangladesh happens informally, without proper safety measures. Environmental groups believe there may be up to 265 illegal sites operating across the country.
There is no accountability of that sector to use high-quality batteries. So they are using low-quality 8 to 10 months longevity batteries. They're recycling it frequently and causing more pollution, lead pollution.
The environmental impact is equally devastating. In Fulbaria, a village a few hours north of Dhaka, a Chinese-owned battery recycling plant is destroying local ecosystems. Pipes from the factory spew acid and lead directly into rice paddies, turning once fertile farmland barren.
এই ব্যাটারি ফ্যাক্টরির প্রভাবে আমাদের যেই ফসলি জমিগুলো আছে এই ফসলি জমিগুলো পুরো একদম শক্ত হয়ে গেছে আর মাটিগুলো একদম ঝুরঝুরে কালো হয়ে গেছে এখন ওইখানে ফসল করার মতন উৎপাদন করার মতন কোনো ব্যবস্থা নাই
Outraged communities are pushing for action, filing pollution complaints across several regions, leading to court-ordered shutdowns in some cases. However, residents say corruption often undermines these victories. Still, activists are continuing to fight for stricter enforcement, hoping to protect more children like Junaid from paying the price of lead pollution. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Prosecutors are seeking to detain 4 more officials affiliated with the opposition Kuomintang for allegedly forging signatures on recall petitions. The 4 people are connected to the KMT's local offices in Keelung and New Taipei City and to the Keelung City government. It's the latest in a widening investigation into alleged forgery in recall campaigns against lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party. Over the past month, prosecutors have raided several KMT local offices, including those in Taipei, Tainan, Kaohsiung, and Yilan, and questioned more than a dozen officials. A major Taiwanese contract electronics manufacturer plans to invest up to $85 million in the state of Texas, a move aimed at avoiding heavy U.S. tariffs. Inventec announced the expansion in a statement on the Taiwan Stock Exchange. The company produces servers and notebook computers that use NVIDIA chips. Its Texas facility will focus on AI services and strengthen business partnerships in the U.S. Taiwan's government is trying to negotiate down tariffs of 32% currently on pause and has proposed increasing investment in the U.S. to decrease the trade surplus. President Lai Ching-te has reiterated his commitment to boost Taiwan's defense spending.
接下来还会优先编列特别预算，让国防预算达到 GDP 的3%以上，持续提升台湾的自我防卫能力。
Lai was speaking to a delegation from a U.S. think tank, the National Bureau of Asian Research. It included former U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Chief Admiral John Aquilino, making his second trip to Taipei in 5 months. Aquilino commended Taiwan's efforts to strengthen its defense.
As I watch the efforts of your ministers and the leadership of my friend Admiral May align to your strategic approach of a whole-of-society defense to deliver deterrence, and the pace at which you are working is nothing short of inspiring.
U.S. policymakers have increasingly emphasized the need for Taipei to increase its defense spending as it faces a growing threat from China. A university in France is bringing Taiwan to its students thanks to an elective course that is unique in the country. John Van Trieste takes a look inside.
Here in this Paris classroom, a lecture unlike anything you'll find elsewhere in France is underway. Under the guidance of Pingdong County native Liu Jianyue, these students are picking up a piece of Taiwan in the form of one of the country's major languages. Just what to call this language can be a bit contentious. On the official wall of languages offered, this university, in Alco, just uses the word Taiwanese, though others might prefer a range of names, from Taiwanese Taigi to Taiwanese Hokkien to Hoklo or Minnan. But whatever name is used to refer to the language, it is the ancestral tongue of much of Taiwan's population. And in the 5 years since this course opened, over 400 students have taken it as an elective course as part of a degree in Mandarin Chinese. For some, the reasons are very personal.
大家好，我是Claire，我伫巴黎，我是东方语言甲文化学院的学生。我的妈妈是台湾人，我的爸爸是法国人。
Claire didn't grow up with this language, but hopes studying it will help her better connect with her Taiwanese mother. Though Taiwanese Taigi belongs to the same language family as Mandarin, even students with the requisite 3 years will find plenty of fresh challenges. For one thing, there are around twice as many tones to master as in Mandarin. And unlike in Mandarin, what you see isn't what you get. Within words and phrases, tones swap positions according to an intricate set of rules that come naturally to native speakers, but which learners must master. Those who take the plunge are rewarded, though. With the real deal, including, say, some of the pop songs that are a real part of everyday life in Taiwan. But giving students here this special peek hasn't been simple due to sensitivities over anything called Taiwanese, given China's claims to Taiwan.
On assume et on est très fiers de respecter justement la complexité de la situation chinoise et de donner le place au taïwanais, qui est donc reconnu sur notre mur comme une langue légitime à être enseignée à l'INALCO. Et les difficultés, on essaye de les affronter.
Instructor Liu Jianyue is proud to give his students a special look into his homeland.
在法国来说，法国人对台湾的观感或者是印象或者是了解，其实有越来越加深的一个改变。台语对我们来说是一个非常重要的一个语言，这个语言其实可以让外国人更了解台湾的不同在哪里。
In the halls of this esteemed French Center of Language Learning, a tongue with close ties to Taiwan takes its place. Howard Zhang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow us on social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this new exhibition featuring works of Japanese artist Utagawa Hiroshige at the British Museum in London. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.